I waited and waited and said, when is Daddy coming? I'm waiting.
This thing doesn't take too long to close. You just close the...
I didn't have food. Romeo Kumalo finally speaks out on how he was treated in his own home by his wife, Basetsena Kumalo. Subscribe to this channel so that you will not miss out on any information. In a stunning revelation that has left many in the South African social elite reeling, Romeo Kumalo, the husband of media personality Basetsena Kumalo, has finally broken his silence on the alleged mistreatment he suffered during their marriage. The 54-year-old businessman, who has kept a low profile for years, has opened up about the emotional and financial abuse he claims to have endured, including the harrowing experience of going hungry in his own home. The allegations, which have sent shockwaves through the community, paint a starkly different picture of the Kumalos' seemingly perfect marriage. For years, Basetsena, 56, has been a household name, celebrated for her impeccable style, business acumen, and high-profile connections. Her husband, Romeo, on the other hand, has largely kept a low profile, with many assuming he was content to live in the shadow of his famous wife. However, according to Romeo, the reality was far from glamorous. In an exclusive interview, he revealed that his marriage was a toxic and loveless one, marked by emotional manipulation, financial control, and even hunger. The situation, he claims, became so dire that he was forced to rely on his friends and colleagues to get by. I would often have to ask my friends for money to buy food or pay for petrol, Romeo said, his voice cracking with emotion. It was a very humiliating experience, but I didn't know what else to do. My wife controlled the finances, and I was not allowed to access any money. It was like I was a child, not a husband or a partner. Romeo's account is corroborated by several close friends and acquaintances who claim to have witnessed the couple's tumultuous marriage firsthand. Romeo was always the quiet one, the one who kept to himself, said a friend, who wished to remain anonymous. But behind closed doors, it was a different story. Basetsena was the one who wore the pants, and Romeo was just along for the ride. The couple's friends and family have long been aware of the tensions in their marriage, but few suspected the extent of Romeo's alleged suffering. They would always present a united front, but there were whispers, said another acquaintance. People would talk about how controlling Basetsena was, how she would dictate every aspect of their lives. But Romeo never spoke out, and we never thought much of it. Romeo's decision to speak out now is seen as a significant move, one that could have far-reaching consequences for the couple's marriage and their respective reputations. I've had enough, Romeo said, his voice firm. I've kept quiet for too long, and I've suffered in silence. But now, I want the truth to come out. I want people to know what really happened in our marriage. The fallout from Romeo's allegations is already being felt, with many in the socialite circle expressing shock and disappointment. Basetsena has yet to comment on the allegations, but sources close to her claim she is devastated by Romeo's decision to speak out. The couple's marriage has been on the rocks for years, with rumors of infidelity and financial woes circulating in the media. In 2019, they announced their separation, but have yet to finalize their divorce. As the drama unfolds, one thing is clear. Romeo Kumalo's decision to speak out has sent shockwaves through the South African socialite circle, and has raised important questions about the nature of marriage, power dynamics, and the long-term effects of emotional abuse. For Romeo, the journey ahead will be long and difficult, but he's determined to rebuild his life and reclaim his voice. I've been silenced for too long, he said. But now, I'm taking back control. I'm taking back my life. The implications of Romeo's allegations are far-reaching and have sparked a wider conversation about the complexities of marriage and relationships. Experts say that emotional abuse can have serious long-term effects on a person's mental health and well-being. Emotional abuse can be just as damaging as physical abuse, said a psychologist who wished to remain anonymous. It can lead to feelings of low self-esteem, anxiety, and depression. It's a serious issue that needs to be addressed. As Romeo navigates this new chapter in his life, he's determined to use his experience to help others. I want to use my story to raise awareness about emotional abuse, he said. I want people to know that they're not alone, and that there is help available. The road ahead will be long and difficult, but Romeo is ready to face it head-on. With his newfound voice, he's determined to rebuild his life and find happiness on his own terms. Romeo and Bassett Sana's marriage has been a subject of fascination for years, with many assuming they were one of South Africa's most powerful and influential couples. But behind closed doors, the reality was starkly different. According to sources close to the couple, their marriage was marked by tension and control. Bassett Sana, a successful businesswoman, was said to have exerted total control over the household finances, dictating every aspect of their lives. Romeo was not allowed to have his own bank account, said a source. He had to rely on Bassett Sana for every rand he spent. It was a very controlling situation. The situation, sources claim, became so dire that Romeo was forced to live a double life. By day, he would attend high-profile events and pose for photos with his wife, but by night, he would struggle to make ends meet. It was a very difficult time in my life, Romeo said, his voice cracking with emotion. I felt like I was living a lie. I felt like I was trapped in a situation that I couldn't escape. For years, Romeo kept quiet about his marriage, afraid to speak out against his wife. But now, he's broken his silence, and the consequences are already being felt. The fallout from Romeo's allegations has been swift, with many in the socialite circle expressing shock and disappointment. Bassett Sana has yet to comment on the allegations, but sources close to her claim she is devastated by Romeo's decision to speak out. The couple's friends and family are said to be reeling from the news, with many expressing surprise and concern. "We're all shocked," said a friend. "We had no idea things were that bad." As the drama unfolds, one thing is clear. Romeo Kumalo's decision to speak out has sent shockwaves through the South African socialite circle, and has raised important questions about the nature of marriage, power dynamics, and the long-term effects of emotional abuse. For Romeo, the journey ahead will be long and difficult, but he's determined to rebuild his life and reclaim his voice. "I've been silenced for too long," he said. "But now, I'm taking back control. I'm taking back my life." With his newfound voice, Romeo is determined to use his experience to help others. "I want to use my story to raise awareness about emotional abuse," he said. "I want people to know that they're not alone, and that there is help available." The road ahead will be long and difficult, but Romeo is ready to face it head-on. With his courage and determination, he's poised to rebuild his life and find happiness on his own terms. As the South African socialite circle continues to grapple with the implications of Romeo's allegations, one thing is clear. The conversation around emotional abuse and toxic relationships has been sparked.